Go. I'm already talking.
SummerSlam 99 would not work out in 2020.
Puppies.
Yeah, Deborah.
There were some puppies.
There's some puppies, some asses, some not so pleasing asses.
There was at first
Torn panties.
Torn panties.
At first, there was Jesse the Body Ventura yelling at Triple H in China, saying that China, if you got involved in this match, I'm gonna kick you out.
Yeah, you'll be involved with me.
We're gonna talk about how that worked out. We can also talk about we're from Minnesota, so we lived through this shit.
1999.
We did. We were 7, so we didn't really know. But
when we get to the hardcore match, I'm intrigued by how the way everything looked when we left the arena, because literally I worked like right down the road from where they were.
We both did.
We both did. Sorry.
But all right, so we opened up the show
with
a match about puppies.
Jesse Ventura is the governor of Minnesota
at this point in time.
Is he?
Meaning in 1999, not today.
For some fucking reason.
Before we go to the matches, JR and Lawler, great combo. I like JR over Lawler, but they both are just great together.
I want to know how many times fucking Lawler says puppies during this podcast.
Well, and then on top of that, the first match he's whistling.
He goes puppies and he whistles like come here.
Which sounds really pedophilish and creepy.
It's sexist. It's not pedophilish when the woman's like 40.
Yeah, but on top of that, though, Lawler got that charge against him years ago.
And bring up the signs, because you pay attention to a lot of the signs, so bring those up whenever you remember them.
I can't remember when they happened, but there were a lot of weird signs.
There was
Rocky gives rim jobs. Rocky gives rim jobs.
There was the guy says
Newchicks.com.
Newchicks.com. His balls itch. My balls itch. That was one.
I poop a lot.
Yeah, I poop a lot. Oh, like dumb signs, but like
there's a Mr. Rash sign.
Mr. Rash, nice.
I'm just saying
with 2 S's, I guess.
No, there's only one.
Oh.
They should have did 2.
Yeah, but like it's a sign of the times, because like when I went to my first Raw. I know I had 3 signs between the people I went with. We had like 4 signs between all of us. One of them got taken away because it said like Eric Bischoff, and then below it had like a blank spot before off, like jerk off, fuck off, or whatever. There's so many signs back then, and like now you don't see them ananymore because obviously we're not fans. But
I don't know what I'm going to remember, but free nudes one, I could never get what the website was, and it really bothered me.
.com.
There's free nudes at something.com.
There's rfvideo.com.
Freenudes.com, the only place you can find naked women on the internet. The only place you can find naked women.
Even there's another dude who had the free
nudes. That did not say, it said rfvideo.com. It didn't say they were nudes.
I thought there was nakedchicks.com too.
No, it was free nudes, or free naked girls or women at whatever.
I mean, the signs were the sign of the times. So it was amazing how many signs there were.
Rocky gives rim jobs will never be seen.
Yeah, there was great one signs. There was Austin signs, Triple H signs, China signs, everything you can imagine.
Everybody love Mr. Ass.
Something.
Yeah, someone liked Mr. Ass.
Yeah. Okay, so go ahead.
Now we can actually start the show.
So we had the European title and Intercontinental title on the line, and it was all about puppies.
The Eurocontinental title. It was more about the puppies than it was about...
It was D'Lo Brown, who's the double champ, versus Jeff Jarrett. JEFFJARRETT.
Ain't he great?
With Deborah's double D's.
And then he kicks Deborah out. So Deborah goes and finds D'Lo.
Dude, the story...
says, can I come out with you? And he's
like, weird
okay.
Puppy side story of this match and what happens. Actually, excellent. I thought it was great.
Well, I mean, it was all about the popularity. Like, Jeff didn't want Deborah to be more popular than him, which makes sense. It's the Sable Mark Merrow situation, like
Correct.
you were saying.
Can we say, quote unquote, didn't want to as the match played out?
But, anyways, at the beginning, D'Lo was hitting a couple nice power slams on Jeff Jarrett. There's that good sit down power bomb to Jeff Jarrett from D'Lo. There's the vertical suplex to Jeff Jarrett.
D'Lo's a stud.
Yeah, he looks really good in this one.
At least
there was that weird ring post sell by D'Lo Brown, where he just got like thrown into it and he like bounced off of it really awkwardly. There's the top rope arm breaker DDT by D'Lo, which was really cool.
Good. That was a good spot.
There's another D'Lo power bomb to Jeff Jarrett. There was the mule kick leg drop by D'Lo. There's the suplex by D'Lo. There's that missed Swanton Senton thing by D'Lo.
Well, he was going for his frog splash, and then he moved out of the way, so he flipped himself.
He did, yeah, that's right.
He was going for his finisher.
True. Then Deborah ends up distracting the referee when Jeff Jarrett's grabbing the guitar. Then here comes Mark Henry.
Out of nowhere, really.
And Mark Henry grabs the guitar and he goes, I'm going to hit Jarrett with it. And then he hits D'Lo with it.
You called Jarrett fucking dumb because you thought...
I did.
You didn't remember what happened.
I fell for it.
you fell like a Mark.
He was the smart heel. I'm the dumbass Mark. Yeah.
So...
Why are you so stupid? He just took it out of your hand.
Yeah, so D'Lo gets hit with the guitar from Mark Henry. Jeff Jarrett wins.
I also want to specify we're doing this show because it's SummerSlam in month, and this is my show because this is the first WWE show, WWF show I remember watching as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Just got to throw that in there. We're each going to have one, so get ready for a bunch of SummerSlam reviews.
Yes.
Along with Survivals as the Fittest.
Yep. And it's going to push all the way into September because it's too many.
Yep, and I already have September already planned out too, good gentlemen.
Let's do it.
There's one part that needs to be in there, and you better have it in there.
Part of what?
He said September's already planned out, but I said I'm doing that live show, so it better be in there.
All right, well,
Keep going.
Albert, what are your notes on that particular match?
Obviously, beginning of the match, and I'm a warm-blooded male, so yeah, Deborah. God damn.
Yeah, 99
Holy
wrestling.
crap. Walking out with a blue overcoat and a blue bikini with like little diamond like straps coming like
Thong bikini.
Thong bikini. Well, we never know it was a thong, but it goddamn probably was.
Oh, you
one.
see it.
He saw it for
You
one shot.
You do see it. He just never takes that.
I might have been
fucking
taking
jacket
notes,
off.
so I guess I missed out. But
I missed
God, Deborah, you took care of yourself. Good for you. The great acapella asshole chant for Jeff Jarrett. He's such a heel. Jeez, like
just talk about the fans in general.
Yeah,
They were hyped.
Yeah, this is that era. This is the Attitude Era.
We said the same shit during WrestleMania 17.
And it was 2 years after, more than like almost 2 years after this.
I even showed you the same shit when we watched like 2005 TNA.
So the sit down powerbomb by D'Lo was great. All D'Lo had to do in this match to get over was do his shaking of the head thing that he's just known for. Crowd popped. It was amazing.
I loved it though when the match first started and he came out with Deborah. You're like,
Yeah.
D'Lo's not over. They're just cheering that Deborah's back.
I thought so too, but then he did. But who knows? Maybe he's just because he's a de facto face because Jarrett is the heel. By the way, great heel.
I do like that theme song though on D'Lo.
Well, I couldn't tell what it was.
It's you're looking at the real deal now. Woo!
Was that what it was then?
Yeah.
I thought so. Was that the Nation Domination?
No,
Because Mark Henry was.
This is when he was just
This is
teaming
just
with Mark
the team.
Henry.
Okay.
Nation was over at this point.
We want puppies chants at least 4 times in the match.
Or different variations of puppies.
Yeah.
chants.
D'Lo
Thanks.
did a great Snake Eyes. Was it was it a press slam into Snake
Yeah, it
Eyes?
was a press slam. Type
Yeah,
thing.
something like that. No, wait a minute. Or yeah. That it had to be that. Either way, I love the move Snake Eyes when you just throw a guy into a turnbuckle and his head hits it. I love it. Mark Henry turns on D'Lo and I fell for it. I had no idea this was going to happen, even though I've seen this before and I still forgot.
To be fair, I don't think any one of us has watched this in the last.
Yeah, and but like
I can't remember when I bought the DVD, so.
and honestly, a seasoned veteran should have known that when Deborah goes back and Brent comes back out with the D'Lo, we should have known there's some chicanery involved.
I hadn't watched it since VHS, so you can say DVD all you want.
Yeah.
I watched it on VHS.
The match was pretty solid. I'm gonna give it a 7.
I gave it a 7 as well.
I'll actually give it a 7.5. I was entertained. I was surprised by D'Lo. I forgot what an insufferable prick Jeff Jarrett was. In puppies.
That's why he's so over. I'm sorry. That's why like everyone who goes against Jeff Jarrett probably gets a pop just because
He was a
they're against Jeff Jarrett.
He was a perfect mid-card major heel.
Yeah.
He was never a world title heel, but
Until he went to WCW anyway.
right, and then forced himself upon NWA TNA.
Correct.
Well, that's because Austin refused to work with him. He didn't want to work with Jarrett because back in the days when Austin was first starting, he said that Jarrett screwed him over back in the day for money.
So DTA essentially.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Then after that, we got a promo from Michael Cole with Edge and Christian talking about the tag team turmoil match, how they were going to be the first team out, and pretty
Correction.
much how,
Promo from Edge and Christian.
well, whatever. Presented by Michael Cole.
Thank you.
Whatever. But anyways, Edge and Christian are just talking about how pretty much the Brood was broken up, but the Hardy Boys and the new Brood. So we have to take the turmoil match. In this match, we have the teams of Edge and Christian, Hardcore Holly and Crash, Albert and Draws, Midian and Viscera, the Hardy Boys, and the APA. So we start off with Edge and Christian and the Hardys. First thing I put down is the side Russian leg sweep to Matt by Edge. Gangrel ended up hitting Christian. There's the slam springboard suplex splash or springboard splash to Christian from Jeff Hardy.
Yep.
Poetry in motion to Christian from the Hardy Boys. There's the suplex swanton combo to Christian.
Mm-hmm.
The double reverse DDT from Christian to the Hardys. Then Edge and Jeff Hardy get on opposite barricades.
Oh,
and Edge
that's great.
spears Jeff.
Best spear I've seen by Edge until WrestleMania 17.
Then Christian dives onto Gangrel, which then causes Matt Hardy to moonsault onto Christian and kind of Gangrel.
Knocked the fuck out of Christian. You called that.
Yeah.
He nailed it.
Nailed it right in his head.
Then Edge face plants Matt. Then there's an elbow. 1, 2, 3. Then here come Midian and Viscera.
So here's my only issue.
Do you want to go segment by segment?
Go for it.
All right. So I'm just amazed that we did WrestleMania 17
a couple weeks back.
Probably like a week ago.
Yeah.
And these guys are still. It's amazing how young these guys are. Of course, it's 99, of course, but still. This is. I'm not sure if it's the only match they ever had where Edge and Christian were the face and the Hardys were the heels.
I think that's how it goes because every other match I've seen of these guys in, they're the heels.
Because later in the year, going into 2000, they had a little. I don't want.
They had the money. They had the money steel cage match.
I don't know if it was like a little best of 5 or whatever. But it was
the tit.
I think it was
Terry Invitational.
Yeah, that's it. Terry Invitational.
Wrestling,
tournament.
1990.
Wrestling.
It's the tits.
Yeah, and I think that
Team Invitational.
And
it's gonna be tits, you guys. Totally tits.
I think that so this may be the only time I see the Hardys ever face Edge and Christian where Hardys are the heels. But everything else, yeah, the springboard splash by Jeff Hardy was great. The Swan Time, it might have been his. Who knows if he ever debuted it whenever? I don't know. It's just amazing to see, no matter how old he is or how young he was.
He was like 20 in this match.
Mm-hmm.
The
might have been just 19.
Possibly.
I don't know how these guys think this shit up. It's amazing how these can get booked. When Hardy got speared by Edge, that was
great.
Marked
that's
out.
the spot that's the biggest spot I remember for this entire show.
Matt with the moonsault on Jeff when he actually nailed it and hit it. It wasn't like some kind of like I missed by like this much and you can tell, but like he nailed Christian right in the head.
But
and then Edge and Christian win, and we move on.
No, I have one comment to make about this.
All right, what's your comment?
This was the highlight. That's the problem I have with this.
Not really.
No, there's other moments, but this was the highlight to this whole thing for me.
Of this particular match, this part is the highlight.
That's what I'm saying. For this turmoil match, the Hardys Edge and Christian opener was what got me the most. Like,
let's come back to that after the match is over because I got some questions about that.
All right,
might just be my interest in characters.
Next is Midian and Viscera.
Jesus.
And what I wrote is Viscera does that fall-away slam to Christian. He does that spinning heel kick to Edge, which actually looked good for a big man.
Yeah,
he looks like a falling 450-pound guy that is able to actually kick.
Then there was the spear to Midian. 1, 2, 3. Those guys are out. Here come Albert and Dross. Albert, you got anything?
Albert!
Yeah, before I make my appearance in the match itself, Midian on Brett's rope, I just laughed about it because, like, no one goes on the second rope and does anything anymore. It's either you're on the ground or you're on the top rope. So when Midian did his little breastrope thing, I just laughed because when I watch OCW, they say breastrope things or whatever.
He missed.
And the Viscera was spinning heel kick, even though it was like barely at his chest or whoever he hit, it still looked good for a guy who's like 500 plus. And
I also noticed that move happens too many times throughout the night, though.
But like based on time, the match had to be short, and I get it. So I'm not worried about Edge and Christian winning quickly, but the match moves on because like they're the guys who are carrying this whole match. They're the MVPs of this match for sure.
Any comment on the Midian and Draws segment or section of this?
No, not at all.
All right, so here come Albert.
He didn't fail, and he wasn't.
Albert and Draws are in. There's the awesome Torture Rack
There's
neck
Midian
breaker.
and Viscera very much.
Yeah, Viscera, whatever. Torture Rack neck breaker to Edge from Albert. That looks pretty cool.
Damn right.
There's the step over face lock to Albert.
Yeah.
That ended the match, and in came the APA.
All right, so I have one comment on this. I had more fun with this, joking about either it being actually you, Albert, or just joking about Albert in all of his different personas he had just in this match.
He did. He's had like 11 different gimmicks.
Hey, look, I'm
between
skinny
here
in
and
this
Japan.
one.
I was doing I was doing great until I ran into the turnbuckle and missed, of course, because I'm this
And
clumsy.
then you immediately became a jobber.
And I was a jobber after that. But however, was that torture rack into a cutter? I couldn't tell what it was.
It was a neck breaker.
Neck breaker kind of thing. Okay. And then of course I see the lights and eat the pin. So hey, look, but I will say though, I'm an athletic motherfucker.
I do want to comment back, talk about taking the pin. And I don't know, this is something that popped in my head when it happened. Matt Hardy eats a lot of pins when the Hardys lose matches.
Yeah, he does.
If it's a tag team?
Yeah. Like that, most of the matches they lose, if Jeff's not doing something incredibly dangerous like jumping off of a cage or a ladder,
Which he did.
Matt takes the pin.
Oh, fair enough.
All right, so the APA come in.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Edge does a nice neck breaker to Bradshaw.
Mm-hmm.
Bradshaw does a nice power bomb to Edge. Spinning heel kick to Simmons spinning heel kick to Simmons from Edge. Spine
Farouk.
buster. Well, whatever.
Call him by his name in the
Spine
match.
buster to Edge from Farouk.
Always looks strong.
DDT to Farouk from Edge. Christian does a tornado DDT to Bradshaw. Clothesline from Hell to Christian. 1, 2, 3. Here come Hardcore Holly and Crash.
So I enjoyed this as well.
Yeah, the Acolytes were over, and they were obviously a better match for the Edge and Christian than the last two teams. Because those two teams were just put together for one reason or another. Midian and Viscera were because they were part of the
Ministry of Darkness.
Thank you. And then Albert and Dross probably just, we needed a 16. Probably.
No, actually, Albert and Dross were a team because they were a team with, who's Vic Grimes. That dude that New Jack almost killed in ECW.
Oh, off 15 feet off the floor through tables and he missed.
Yeah, so what it was is they were a faction where Albert was Droz' piercer.
And that makes sense.
And Vic Grimes
Do not enter.
was his drug dealer.
Wrestling.
And I can't remember what the hell his name was, but Vic Grimes was the dude's drug dealer.
So
After the Hawk storyline from him being the third member
which
of LOD.
makes it so much worse.
Oh.
What happened there? But no, this was good. I liked this. Second to the Hardys. The problem I had with this whole thing was 3 of these teams you could see winning. Actually, I couldn't even see the Hardys winning at this point. But 2 of these teams you could see winning. And the Hardys were there. And then the other 3 teams you knew weren't going to win.
Yeah.
Hardcore Holly and Crash could have potentially won, but Midian and Viscera and Albert and Droz, no.
I was just more surprised that it wasn't Edge and Christian.
So after this match is over, we got to talk about the booking because I'm curious about how you feel about all that stuff. Edge got hit by a nice power bomb. The Farouk spinning heel kick was great. Or by Edge on Farouk was great because Farouk sounds like a boss. Farouk with the cool pins where he's pretty much doing push-ups on your chest.
What about the one where he literally just pins Edge's hair?
Yeah, he stands up his hair.
I think Farouk. I don't know how that
counts.
I think Farouk was just you know what can I do to be different? And then there it was. I think it's really cool.
Also,
the
illegal
crowd,
pin, though. It's the hair.
So I'm wondering if the crowd is into the Acolytes or Edge and Christian because they're faces, but they're so into this. It's great. I love to see that. And then everything else played out like Chris said, and the Acolytes win the match with the clothesline from Hell, which still, you can see it coming. It's one of those finishes like the Stone Cold, when Stone Cold kicks you in the gut and then stuns you. The clothesline from Hell is one of those things. He goes off the ropes, and not only does he just come off the ropes, he digs deep into those ropes and comes off you and spins.
Yeah, he makes it look real good.
And he kills you.
The weird thing is, I feel like that move could have been like the RKO out of nowhere or the Claymore or something like that, where you can just hit it and be like, bam. But I think the reason why it doesn't work that way is clotheslines can be weak. So he had to do it in a way that made it look as impactful as possible, which is why it made it look so.
Not to mention the clothesline is such a common move. Like
I thought it was a weird finisher, but he did make it work. Like when he hit one that was really good, you're like, yeah, it's probably over.
yeah, it's over.
Well, and then on top of that too, I can't remember what move it was, but the Hollies must have thought the match was over because Hardcore Holly and Crash come out before the match is officially over.
They did.
Welcome to 99.
Well, so I don't know if if they thought that the other move that just happened was supposed to end the match
They
before the
missed their cue or
clothesline
something.
did.
Yeah.
But I mean that was fine.
Oh, I actually
So
do want to
then-
go back to the first match because there's something I said when we were watching it.
Alright.
Even in 99, they were building storylines like 2 weeks before a Big Four pay-per-view. That was the part I wanted to mention.
Yeah.
They built that in like 3 weeks' time, right before SummerSlam.
It probably wasn't as common as it was now, maybe, but like, I mean, like things slipped through the cracks with 6 teams.
It's just weird to see it. Like, either one of these matches so far that we've watched, they're kind of like out of nowhere, like, boom, here
Right.
you go. Here's your matches. Some of
Yeah.
our matches later on in the show have clear months build to them. But
So then Hardcore Holly and Crash come out, and first off, Farouk does a pretty sick dominator to Crash right away.
oh, Farouk's a beast.
He really is. Then Hardcore and Crash start fighting with each other after a while. There's a nice spine buster from Farouk to Hardcore Holly. 1, 2, 3. In the end, the Acolyte / APA win the match.
I would have liked it better if they were the APA at this point, I think.
They were getting there.
They were
I know
close.
they were, but still be like I would have loved it when the match ended if they would have just played the APA theme song. It would have made it.
Yeah, one of the better gimmicks in the in 2000 was them going back. Obviously, during at WrestleMania 17, they actually had the door, and there's like nothing around it, and it goes.
Yeah, you walk in the
goes to
door, it's
anyway.
like a bar, like a
Yeah,
poker
pretty.
game and shit.
Yeah, I thought the match was kind of funny when Crash Holly tags himself in and then proceeds to get his ass whipped. Like I don't think he got like one move of offense in at all.
They're the
love
super
when he tried the
heavyweights, by
pin.
the way.
They are super.
They're over 800 pounds together.
Yeah.
I love when he tried the pin and Hardcore's like, I'm legal and fuck you. And they
Yeah.
start-
And then Hardcore tags himself in, and then they just have a match, or have the rest of the match, and then eventually the Hollies fight each other, and then Farouk wins with the spine
I
buster.
thought that was great because Farouk just let it happen and he's like, okay, and done.
Okay, so I want to go back to the booking real quick, and I'm not saying we're master bookers or anything, but do you think it'd been better if the Hollies were at the beginning of the match, and then maybe the Hardys were at the end, or Edge and Christian were at the end versus the Acolytes, if the Acolytes were going to go over?
I'm just saying, I think the only I didn't have a problem with the booking on like Edge and Christian and the Hardys opening.
Yeah.
My issue is that the last team in was Crash and Hardcore. Like I had no real belief they were gonna win.
Right.
I think for me it would have worked better if the Hardys or Edge and Christian made it to the final. And then there'd be like 2 viable teams. I never once, from the moment they got there and the moment there was tension between the Hollies, I was just like, oh, they're not gonna win.
Because you
I would have booked it completely different, to be 100%
You could have
honest.
started
That's
off
what I'm
with
saying.
like the Hollies versus like Midian and Viscera, and Crash Holly pins Viscera.
Or you could have just not had Viscera in the match.
Oh, yeah, whatever. and then the third team comes out, and that's Edge and Christian, and they wrestle their couple matches, and then lose to the Hardys, and Hardys lose the Acolytes, or something like that.
I would have ended it with Edge and Christian, but I would have started it with I would have probably started it with the Acolytes and then actually Midian and Viscera, because technically they were all part of the Ministry of Darkness at this time.
They had the same entrance.
I would have started off with those 2 teams, so that way they would have had to fight each other. Then I would have had probably Edge and Christian come out. Then
And they cover matches, and then just,
those two teams can beat each other up, the Acolytes and Edge and Christian. And then I would have had probably Albert and Draws come out after Edge and Christian survive. Then the Hollies can do their thing, because the Hollies could probably pull off a better match out of Edge and Christian than them. Then at the end it'd be Hardys and Edge and Christian. I would have had Edge and Christian go over.
So here's my problem with that. I actually don't disagree with the Hardys and Edge and Christian opening, because it doesn't make either team look bad because they're both in the same stance. If you had Edge and Christian go 3 matches deep and then still beat the Hardys, who just came in, that kind of fucks the Hardys over.
is it kind of like the guy who comes out number 1, number 2 in the Rumble, and they both go 40 minutes, but don't win? That kind of thing?
Like if the 30th guy comes in as fucking Triple H or some shit,
Of
and he gets
course.
thrown over by Rey Mysterio or something.
Yeah.
Like what the, who comes
Yeah.
in number 1? It should
Like
be-
I'm like I said, I'm no booker, but like just my thoughts on the match were like I think it could have been better than the Hollies
I don't
At
think
the
the
end.
Hollies should have been at the end. That's
Yeah.
So then, what would you rate this whole collective?
Collectively, I give it a 6.5.
I'm going 7.5. I enjoyed it. Like
I give
I
it a
enjoyed
Edge and
7.
Christian were just monsters. They were the MVPs, and they made
I
it
enjoyed
great.
the stuff I liked, and you see the star power that became the Hardys and Edge and Christian,
Right.
and the APA for that matter. But
Even-
it's just,
even-
there's enough job stuff in there. I was like,
Even kind of in a way, Hardcore Holly too, because he gets kind of over later
I
on
was
too.
never really a hardcore Holly.
He has 2 title matches like later down the line. He fights
He loses to Brock.
China and Jericho for the Intercontinental title, the Rumble.
and he has Brock,
And
in
then Brock.
2004.
Well, and then Crash even gets over his own little gimmick of
The
whole
hardcore title.
hardcore title thing, which
I
makes
never
it
liked Crash.
24/7.
Yeah, but he did great.
What he
With the
did in
hardcore
this
title.
match is did exactly his character. So yeah, I'm supposed to hate him,
The spunky.
Elroy Jetson.
There you go.
and I fucking hated him for it. Leroy Jenkins.
No, they Lawler used to call him Elroy from the. Jesus
Oh,
Christ,
yeah.
What's that show?
What does
Jetsons.
everybody want?
Yes. Next was the hardcore title match. The Big Boss.
Well-
You
Man.
didn't answer my question.
Well, before then, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh,
Al Snow talks to his dog.
Yeah,
that's right.
Pepper.
Okay, so there's 2 things about that. One, it's a little Chihuahua, but I tell you what,
Beverly
though.
Hills Chihuahua like 6
Yeah.
years ahead of time.
But I'll tell you what, though. I do talk to my cat.
You
As
also
if-
post about
and
it
I
on Facebook
answer-
all the time.
I know I do, because I love my cat. But I also talk back to my cat in the voice I perceive the cat to have. So I have no
You
problem
sound
with
like
that part.
Macho Man.
That's the
Oh,
first thing.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that's the first
You're
thing.
gonna put me over, brother.
So I'm somewhat embarrassed to say that I like the Snow and Pepper when he was talking to Pepper, and then he would just respond back like he wait for an answer, like okay, he would say, and they respond back in the right timing and all that.
I like when he came there. He's like, "You're gonna have to stay right here." Like, okay, you
Yeah,
don't have to come out to the ring.
Don't be scared.
They
Yeah.
kind of fuck up the camera angle.
But
of
wait a
this
minute.
in
What
the
do you
match.
think about the one part though, where literally there's a line that Al Snow says at the end? Well, Head would have came out with me.
That's why I said, "What does everybody want?
Head.
What does everybody need?"
Head.
Okay, so then
But wait. We forgot something.
Oh, I did. Well, I guess
Before
I did.
this, Chris Jericho has a promo
Oh.
against
Yeah,
Orange
that's-
Cassidy.
I was getting to that.
Shut up. Shut up.
Why do you keep saying that? Because it's what the
It's
Road
20
Dog is.
21 years ago at this moment in time.
And
Shut up.
so who's more charismatic at this point, Road Dogg in his prime or Orange Cassidy? now?
Road Dogg doing his best Kevin Federline impersonation from 2006 and 1999. That's what this was.
There's
damn.
literally signs that say Minneapolis likes it doggy style at this point in time.
Yeah.
But-
do this guy doggy style with an arrow pointing to the dude next to him.
I'll tell you what though, man, fucking Chris Jericho schooled Road Dogg on a fucking promo.
Yeah,
But
so,
yeah, they end the promo in a way that makes it seem like Road Dogg won.
Which is lame. I hate that shit.
well, one
Because he
of
said like 2 sentences, that's it.
As Jericho points out in his promo, first time Jericho shows up on pay-per-view
Yeah.
and
in
he,
Minneapolis, Minnesota.
and also Road Dogg can't spell Lugubius.
Lubericious? I don't know.
Whatever Jericho said.
Lugubius.
I
or
guarantee
funny
you,
as
I
shit.
guarantee you Jericho couldn't spell it either.
If you can spell your name and want to impress Chris Jericho, spell Lubercaricious.
Or whatever the
Well,
fuck.
and then the best part is he goes, do you have dyslexia? Because it should be instead of suck it, it's you suck.
It sucks.
No, it says, yeah, it
It
sucks.
sucks.
Yeah.
Because degeneration sucks.
The
Road Dogg sucks. Triple H sucks.
the Jericho line where he says like you look like it, you're a guy wearing stupid clothes and you have a Stevie Wonder haircut, and that's coming from Jericho with the fucking bangs where it's tied like it's like a hair tie.
He's got that stupid man bun, but in the front.
And he has the pre light bright jacket, which is sparkles and like whatever.
I am the Ayatollah of rock and rolla.
Oh, love that shit, dude.
Yeah, and then he did his never ever again.
Well, he has more ease down the line, but still is so great. I love Jericho from
of
beginning
course,
to end.
He just was talking mad shit. He called it Summerslam. Earlier in the night, we seen him roasting Howard Finkel.
Yeah, at the beginning of the. You're supposed to be on time with Chris Jericho.
Do you want to keep your job?
Do you want to keep your job? Yeah, I'm sorry, Chris. I believe in what you're trying to say.
What was the name
I'll be
he
better.
called him though?
He called him Harold.
Yeah. Are you ready to go, Harold? It's Howard. No, it's Harold. Just walks.
Let's go.
away.
All right, so now we got one of the more funner matches of the night. So
Funner. I love it.
More fun.
it's
We got
the funner match.
my
we got
better
the-
grammar.
I have a lot to say about this match because of the location. and everything.
Hardcore
Yeah, you
title
gotta talk
match.
about that.
Big
I am
Boss
going
Man
to.
versus Al Snow. First off, we got the Road Dogg on roaming commentary.
Oh, he
What-
didn't go on Roman
which-
commentary. Okay, so before we get to the Roman commentary, I want to talk about, yes, Al Snow came out first. What does everybody want? Head, blah, 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 head. He climbs the weird-ass structure of shit that is the
And
setting
he
for this.
jumps on the Boss Man.
Great move.
Yes, great. But it doesn't work in today's day and age because there's cameras everywhere, TVs everywhere. The guy coming out next knows where the guy is.
Well,
it works here because it's 1999.
He
I'm
would have
saying,
known either way.
that's what I'm saying. Like, he's
Yeah.
going to come out and say, all right, here I come.
But
Big
we
Boss.
don't.
Shut up. That's what I'm saying. But here goes Big Boss Man out to the ring. He's like, oh, yeah, he's not just sitting up here. He just came out like 20 seconds. He never got to the ring. He looks at the ring. There's nobody there. And then flying Al Snow.
At first, I thought, before you go to your notes, I thought when he came out, then I thought he was walking back to Gorilla to get the head, because I didn't know he didn't have the head gimmick by then, the actual head.
No, he had the head gimmick. He was on the pepper now.
Yeah, he was on
That's
the
why he
pepper.
says head would have came out with me when he put the dog
Oh, yeah,
out
that's
before
right.
he came out.
Also, Road Dogg called Jericho a bitch and then ended that.
Yeah,
promo.
he called him a
Ooh,
bitch and was
yeah.
like, oh, the greatest comeback in 2000.
You a bitch.
Yeah, ooh.
After everything Jericho just laid into him,
Jesus.
He
he's
just
like,
roasted his ass.
you're a bitch. He's like, all right, winner.
Jesus, that's all you got, huh?
It sounds like a 12-year-old saying they fucked my mom. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
then
No, you
Snow-
didn't, but
Some
whatever.
12-year-old on
Snow
Call of Duty.
jumps off the stage, the Boss Man. Then they decide to go backstage, and Boss Man grabs the kennel that is we're supposed to be perceived to have Pepper in it, which she is not.
Yeah, because the camera angle kind of fucked up because you can see that the kennel is empty. It would have been more intense if they didn't show that the kennel was empty beforehand. Because the camera angle, like, there it is. I know what to look for.
You would have heard the dog barking anyway, so.
They could have put like a fucking like fake
Stuffed
fucking thing in
animal or
there
something in there.
to make a noise. They
Dog
could have
would've
edited it in because you know how they do
True,
that too.
well, that's true.
I mean, so then
10-second delay, right?
of course, he gets hit with the kennel. Then there's a random chalkboard there, which they both hit each other with, and Snow, when he hits Boss Man with it goes right over Boss Man's head.
Oops.
Then they stole a kid's crutch and started using that.
It's funnier later.
That's true. And Road Dogg is doing walking commentary, and he's like, "Oh, that's gotta hurt."
Yeah, well, he's one. He made some crack about the guy losing his crutch.
said
Like,
he
well, he's
lost a
hobbled
step.
now or something like
He
that.
lost a step.
Yeah, lost a step. That's what it was.
Lost a step. Then they're just battling it out backstage, and there's random shit that's all over. Then you get a Pepsi cooler, and they break the Pepsi fridge.
Yeah, that was the only cringy part, but
It was great. I don't know what you're talking about. It was great.
Boss Man gets hit
Glass.
into a van.
You guys talking about they break the glass, but they also tip it over.
They do tip it over as well once it's broken.
Demands the door gets open.
Yep, so then they open the garage door, and I think Snow is the one who got hit into the garage door.
they both did.
So then they open it up.
Then we get to play a game of geography, because I know all these places.
Yeah.
So then there's a construction sign right outside, and Al Snow gets hit into that.
So it's weird because we're from Minnesota. We both worked in Minneapolis. You don't get to see our work because it's on the other side. But you can see First Avenue right when they open and go about 50 feet. That's where, like 100 feet. That's where we work. You see First Avenue. You see what is now O'Donovan's. The bar they go into is now a strip club.
I've been in there, yeah.
Yeah, so have I. It's great. It's weird though. Now like, and this is where Boss Man took the pin as I'm getting
In
grounded.
Seville's. So, yeah.
As
Yeah,
I'm
you
getting
can
grounded.
get grinded on where Boss Man took a pin.
But it looks completely
Ooh,
different.
hey. I'll give you $20 extra if you find
Right.
a spot.
If you could tell me where it is, and you could tell me you know about
And it
this
was the
spot.
Blues Alley that they fought into, correct?
Yes.
Well, first things first is they go outside, and there's like a bunch of tables set up, and people are eating, and they're getting the people away.
I just say it's
and
really
they,
weird.
And they slam through a table.
It's really weird because you could tell, like, you can say, like, yeah, there wasn't random people there.
No, they knew what was going to happen.
Because everybody in that bar
Was cheering.
was a wrestling fan. They had WWF shirts on and shit like
Well,
this. Like,
the
we're gonna come in here soon, so if you don't want to be a part of
I don't
this,
know.
you should probably. No, I'm just saying everybody that was in the building at the time had a shirt on that was somewhat related to wrestling.
They were all ready for it, for
Yeah, but
sure.
you got to think about it though. They might not have told those specific people because what they did is back in those days they would always show wrestling in a bar anyways.
I'm just saying that
because
anybody that was there kind of knew some shit that could possibly go down. It wasn't like
Okay, but what about the
I'm
dude?
not saying there's not going to be a random fucking person there.
What about the dude who walked right into the fucking bar right when the camera guys are walking in? And he has to show his fucking face, and he's just smiling on his cell phone like, Mom, I'm on TV!
1999, if he had a cell phone, that guy's rich.
That dude had some money. He was on a cell phone screaming something. But they were trying to get him the fuck away.
I'd also make a point, like, no offense to the place, but I wouldn't go to that bar.
But anyways, so they start fighting in this bar.
Seville is much nicer, hotter people.
Al Snow walks up to a chick and just like does one of like the hey baby.
Hey girl, what's up? He does it.
But I will say my weird point about that whole bit was like, I know that place. I know that place. I know that place. This is weird.
Guys, I'm jealous.
I could stand on the exact spot that Al Snow pinned Bossman outside. I know exactly where it is.
They go into the restroom and start fighting to the point where there's a urinal cake involved.
Did you say
devastating?
Did you say WWE had to pay this bar something?
They definitely did.
Yeah, for sure. Any damages?
Then there's a dude just chilling there, and he asks, Al Snow asks for the chain wallet. So he starts choking Bossman with the chain on the wallet.
It's on the DVD cover.
It's on the insert.
Yeah, the pamphlet.
Then they start fighting into the pool hall part of it. Actually, first, Al Snow takes the thing of newspapers, takes the newspapers off, and hits Bossman with the newspaper stand.
Barely any pain, but it sounded hurtful.
They fought over in the pool hall. Road Dogg ends up grabbing a nightstick and hits Bossman with it.
He grabs Bossman's nightstick.
Yeah, he grabs Bossman's nightstick, hits him with it. So he's laid out on a pool table.
And then the weirdest but kind of interesting spot of the match where
Al Snow takes 2 pool balls and hits Bossman in the balls.
And I can't
It
remember.
would be great if it was a 6 ball and a 9 ball, but I don't know what balls they were.
I can't remember which commentator said it. He's like, Snow's got his balls in his hands.
It was Road Dogg.
Oh yeah, Road Dogg. Fuck yeah.
Then
go ahead.
there was the moonsault off the bar.
That was before that.
That was before that because
That's right.
that was before they went in the pool because
Through a table.
It ended on the
on
the
the pool
ball
table.
spot.
Oh yeah, then
With
they
the
did the
pool
ball spot and Snow won.
Yep.
Afterwards, they went back into the arena. And
Okay, so because we're back in the arena, I just want to make a comment because now we're done with the Minneapolis sightseeing part of it. But like, it's interesting to see. It's interesting to see how similar it looks from that little section, but also how different it looks from that section because almost everything except for First Avenue that appears in this is the same, or it's different. Target Center, First Avenue, same. But even First Avenue's got the stars painted on the side now and all that. Like if you actually watch it, they don't have it in the DVD.
True. So then they go back and Blue Meanie and Steven Richards have Pepper.
Oh, they did. Oh, I didn't notice that.
So Al Snow starts beating the shit out of them.
It explains why he beat the shit out of them.
And then he grabs the kid's crutch again, and the kid
The other crutch. So he falls to the ground.
So then he has no leg to stand on.
That's the line. Yeah, I thought that was the first line.
No, that's the second line when he goes back after the match is over. I just like the most enjoyable part about this.
Yeah, I know what you're gonna say.
The most enjoyable part about this is they kept playing his music. Yeah. He's beating the shit out of
the whole time his theme song is just playing. What does everybody want? Well, he's sitting there beating up the fucking Blue Meanie and Steven Richards.
These guys were actually really stiff with each other. I was really glad to see that.
It was entertaining.
Bossman laid like 4 shots, like on, and like you could hear even when,
you just went
yeah. I was like, jeez. Like,
no leg slaps there.
When he broke the
I think there was
like,
one at the end of it was like the last one. It was like someone went like this. Bossman probably did.
I know.
So
we didn't talk about it on the spot, but like right after that, Bossman takes the chalkboard over the head.
Yeah, the chalkboard
over his
spot.
head.
Yeah, that was fucking.
That was fucking.
No. They did it again where it actually.
Yeah, because the first time was hit was Snow got hit by it, and then Bossman did, and it fucking went over his head.
You can see the dent when he gets hit on this one.
Yep, it was pretty bad because Snow got hit first.
The guy getting his crutch taken away was
both times.
He probably didn't even need them. It was just him and the guy with his gimmick for.
But he sold it so well because he takes it the second time.
He does. Around the glass was a little iffy for me because I don't want these guys to get all cut up for no reason.
Oh, and you know, like those Pepsi machines, it's a little bit, or those Pepsi, like we work with those.
Both guys took gimmick beer bottles, and I think Bossman bled a little bit.
Actually, no.
No, they did acknowledge that his nose.
I
was
think
busted
Boss Man
open.
bled a little bit.
They did. You might not have saw it, but they acknowledged it.
Other than that, though, there was no actual bleeding on this whole show.
Which is strange considering what the
wrestling
attitude
was back then.
Yeah.
I could definitely say something weird about this though. This is more of a street fight than the street fight that happens later.
I was hoping that Al Snow would have grabbed 2 full balls, and one was 6 and one was 9, and then slammed in the balls. Like that'd have been outstanding.
Very well could have happened. You don't know.
Well,
We're not going to go back and find out.
And then the brawl with the Blue Ward Order was good. And I mean, it was entertaining, and like WrestleMania 17 with the hardcore match being entertaining. This was entertaining.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Like there was no boring moments, like seeing with the geography everywhere, like all the stiff shots or the things they put themselves through. Like no, I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
I gave it a 7.5 as well.
I'll give it an 8.
Yeah, baby.
I'm going to beat both of you on this one.
All right.
The highest rated Boss Man match I'll ever have.
You might be right.
Then was this the segment where Jesse Ventura was talking to Foley?
I don't know when that happens. I didn't write it down.
All right, so Jesse Ventura at one point in time starts talking
Yeah,
to
it might be.
Mankind, and he's saying the same shit he said to Triple H in China.
In the middle of the ring. I'm gonna count to 3 in the middle of the ring.
Well,
then-
I mean,
And then Foley
yeah,
brings up some
but
weird reference.
no.
And then Mankind literally asks
True.
Jesse Ventura about some random political figure. Oh, how do you think this person would have did in the election? And Jesse Ventura goes, I don't think very good because they're a full-blooded liberal.
They're like a fully blown liberal or something.
It's like, okay.
Political comment done. Moving on.
Yeah, please.
Then we had the women's title match, Ivory versus Tori.
Interesting.
Sure,
Right to censor.
before you go into your notes, Tori was actually really good in the ring. I think she had an injury to her shoulder, and she was out for a period of time. It might have been after this. I'm not sure, but like if it was before the injury, I'm not too fond of Tori now, because this is the first Tori match I've seen in a long time.
Oh, same here. Ivory was fine for what she did. But...
Yeah, Ivory was great. Ivory is great.
So I wrote that there was the the power slam to Ivory from Tori. Then Ivory did a leg drop to Tori. Then Ivory did a version of the Cesaro swing to Tori.
Ivory swing.
There was the crossbody to Ivory. Tori ends up winning. I didn't write many notes because I just couldn't find much.
I know. and I think I had more notes with Ivory and China, but China's way more over than Tori could ever hope to be.
Well, first off, China's a better worker too.
Yeah, as a worker, but like as an in-ring performer, like actual moves, like they're both on par. China's not a great in-ring performer, but she's over because she can work a crowd. The Ivory swing, yeah, that was my first notes. I didn't really. There was not much to say. You're right. The sun flip whoopsie was a botch. They tried to do it again.
She won on it.
Yeah, she did.
She won.
But that was the. But I think that was to replace a botch. They tried to do the same move
Okay,
before.
like I said when it happened. Couldn't even do a sunset flip properly.
And then did the sun flip whoopsie, and then there's the 1, 2, 3.
Either one of us.
Sorry. The sunset flip whoopsie.
I'd say I like this more than Ivory versus China. You were bringing it up earlier.
I do find it funny that the storyline for this particular match was Ivory trying to remove Tori's clothing and then writing slut and skank on her. And
Again.
Listening to Jerry the King Lawler say, she just wrote slut on her. She just wrote skank on her. It's
Of all
really
the people.
weird to hear in 99.
Dude, you were just screaming puppies like 2 hours ago.
Yeah. So then Ivory did try to take off Tori's top, I guess, to do the same thing. And then for some reason, probably because I don't know the storylines between before then and then after that, or before the match and after the match, Luna comes down and saves Tori and chases off Ivory.
So the story behind that is actually the fact that Ivory is pretty much slut-shaming, and Luna's not cool with that.
Slut shaming
So
doesn't
Luna's a
exist for
slut
like
then,
another
okay.
year and 20 years.
Luna's just trying to be a face, pretty much. But what'd you give this one, Albert?
I like Ivory, and because Ivory's good and she plays her characters well, it's a 5.
I gave it a 3.
I just like Ivory.
Like, out of all the matches that we've watched and all of the reviews, this is the worst one we've watched.
it's pretty bad. But I'm going to respect Ivory because I respect this a hell of a lot more than what we watched at 17.
Yeah. And Ivory carried this match because Tori was, I don't know what's wrong with Tori. She just,
Remember, this is 1999.
I know, but like
wrestling.
Tori was somebody when when you hear Jim Ross talk about it, Tori was like a great worker. And then I'm like watching this match, so I'm wondering if it was before Tori's injury. She tore her shoulder or something like that, some ligament in her shoulder, and it limited what she could do. So I don't know if this is before the injury or afterwards, but like if it was after the injury, that's. But yeah, the match was not good. So, but I like Ivory.
Can we
so
call
I'm
it the
giving
worst
5.
match on the card?
Oh, obviously.
Yeah.
All right.
Worst match of the card for sure.
I'm gonna split the middle. I won't go 3 because I'm not as much.
So
of a
you're
dick.
4.
It's not even as much of a dick. It's just I preferred watching Nyla Rose squash those two unknowns versus this.
It was a little rough to watch. That's true, but I got the
And the finish was based off a botch, so
That's another reason that I brought it down. Like I would have made it a.
It
like
looked
a
really
4.
bad.
I would have made it a 4 if that finish wasn't a botch.
yeah. But I just like Ivory, so.
Then
5.
we had the Lions Den match.
Wait. Rock promo.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Rock promo, yep.
Okay.
Go into it.
13-cent tie. Shut up. He did all the all Rock's promos in '99 were his catchphrases. Really, all he had to do was know your role, shut your mouth. In 10 seconds or in 2 seconds, you're gonna hear them all chant my name. Rocky.
The
Rocky
millions
chant, and millions, and then of course it doesn't matter. Whatever. Typical Rocky promo, but god damn it,
He's over his shit.
The Rock will never
awesome.
not be over.
Never is gonna be boring.
He'll be
Always
70.
awesome.
He'll be 70 like 30 years from now, and they're like,
The people's walker will run your candy ass over, and us, the walker will stick it straight up. All that stuff.
there'll only
It's
be
so
us
funny.
3 left watching
It's
wrestling
great.
at the time. We'll be like, yeah, right.
Yeah, and
Pretty much.
it's gonna be. He's gonna be one of the few guys. I mean, you can name like 5 guys who will stand the test of time for years and years and years, and he'll be one of them.
When the XFL takes over the NFL, we'll be like, yeah.
XFL, I'm guaranteed it's gonna be great.
Well, with The Rock owning it, yeah, I mean, it can't go wrong.
Hopefully,
He bought it for less than they were paying Andrew Luck's dad.
$15 million.
They were paying Andrew Luck's dad 20.
Oh,
Yep.
plus he has investors to help him out with it.
That was a 5-year deal that Andrew Luck's dad had, but they couldn't even pay him the $20 million.
Especially because one of the investors is actually The Rock's former wife.
Dana, I know her name.
Well, they both run $7 Productions together.
Yep.
Yeah.
But then we had the Lions Den match. We had Ken Shamrock versus Steve Blackman. I didn't write many notes on it. I just pretty much wrote, there's a lot of kendo stick shots, a lot of nunchucks. Better than I expected.
My answer to this is pretty much the same. Just, I remember this being a lot worse than it was. I actually kind of enjoyed most of it until the weird way they ended it. Because like the rules to the ending didn't make sense to me because they did Blackman knocked him out, and he wanted him to open the cage so he could leave and win the match or whatever.
I didn't think that leaving the cage was part of the.
And neither did I.
Yeah.
And then he gets up and Shamrock gets up and knocks his ass out, and there's like, oh.
And then it was like last man
Yeah.
standing rules then.
Yeah, so I had Blackman with the chucks. I love it when he does. That's one of my favorite gimmicks of all time. Is
It was
Steve
really
Blackman.
cool. I'll give that.
Unfortunately, the powers that be thought his charisma was below par, but he showed charisma in this match, albeit briefly, but still he has it. The Shamrock chant, the crowd's so God, these guys are so over with the crowd.
Well, and you made a point
Jeez.
that if you really want to talk about it, the crowd couldn't get as into this match as you'd want them to because only
Like
an
an
eighth of the crowd
eighth
could
of the crowd
actually
could
see
see
it live, and then the rest had to watch it on TV like everybody else.
And they had to watch it on the screen like we did at TLC.
We got if I was sitting front row,
It's like lights coming in your face during Orton and Styles.
if I was sitting
Right?
if I was sitting front row, I would have been like when we went to ROH. Instead of chanting "earn that paycheck," I would have been like, "I can't see." I'm in the front row.
Well, especially during because it was this match and the hardcore match both had the same issue.
If I paid this much money
Correct.
to sit in the front row, and you're telling me that somebody's sitting in the fucking nosebleed section of the over there corner, like the far left corner,
Can
gets
see
a
better than
view.
me on that. Yeah.
Eventually Blackman got a choke on Shamrock with the nunchucks. I thought that was really cool because Shamrock was selling really good. Both of these guys were bumping like bosses. And I think that goes to the small ring, and they just knew that they had to like do snug moves.
Like what they actually hit looked impactful in this match. I'll say that. Except for the one kind of missed headshot that Shamrock hit with the kendo stick, which made it.
Oh, which hit the shoulder.
Yeah, you got it back later, but still because he had it like this, and then he hit here. It was like, come on, dude.
I was like, at least on the one. Yeah, thanks.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Here and here.
So sorry
aiming
everybody.
at my shoulder.
Shamrock was aiming with the kendo stick on his head, and he had it. Oh God, shut the fuck up, man. Audio podcast. And then he missed after having it against.
My shoulder really hurts from this explanation.
Okay, well then let me. I tried.
I gave it away. It's good.
Well, then he whacked him.
But at least he got him.
Then he finally got him. I think the high spot of the match was when Shamrock was thrown into the cage. He climbed it and then hit Blackman with a knee coming off it. But Blackman eventually gained Blackman got the advantage back, and they got a huge Blackman sucks chant. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 7.5.
But then the win comes out of nowhere, and we're like, huh? And that killed. So a 6.
I'll give it a 7. I'm like I said, this is the first show I ever watched. I'm a wrestling fan from this show. So.
I gave it a 7 as well, just because the ending was a little bit weird. But
I'd almost say a 7.5.
These guys were
better than I remember.
They were snug and they were stiff, and I don't think they laid back any shots at all. I wouldn't be surprised if these guys had like 8 welts at least on their bodies when this match was over.
The only reason I was kind of leeway with the 6 or 7 and 7.5 is like it's just because that finish kind of rubs it weird. Because like I said, I got more into it as you were talking to me about it when we were watching. So yeah, you're actually not wrong. This is a lot better than I thought it was.
Didn't I ask you what the rating was?
Oh yeah, Meltzer gave it a 1 1/4 star.
So I mean, like, I don't know if it's 6 out of 10 is a 1 1/4 star, or if they're equal. But like,
so you got to think.
If you're doing
in
it based
our
off of a
particular
5-star
ratings,
rating,
he would have given it like a 2 or like a 3-ish out
Right.
of 10.
Yeah.
so how do we double it? I mean, are we missing something that he knows or what? Like that's what
He also watched it live when it happened.
I think the fact that Meltzer wasn't into that, because otherwise he would have been reviewing MMA fights. You know
I think
what I mean?
the issue is we took it as the concept it was. He was taking it off of being a wrestling purist, being like, this is not what.
But they're in an MMA octagon,
and it wasn't in Japan.
It's not.
Or
it was not in Japan. But
it was
like,
in Japan. 5 stars.
Being a wrestling purist reviewer like he is, and
so
the way he does.
Sometimes
it was
weird.
far from wrestling.
Sometimes it's weird how he rates things, but like he has his opinions just like we do. So
well, let's just say he probably gave Tori and Ivory negative.
Oh, I'm sure like incomplete.
It's like, I didn't watch this one. Skip.
Well, you couldn't have skipped it back in '99. We didn't have TiVo and all that.
Like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom for 20 minutes.
We had Street Fight next.
Let's talk about this. The Greenwich Street Fight
there you go.
in Minneapolis.
So stupid. I hate that.
With guys wearing Hawaiian shirts, where referees stop guys in Hawaiian shirts from interfering for some reason in a fucking street fight.
But hey, here's the thing. That's not even the full title of it. It's the Love Her or Leave Her
Minneapolis
Street Fight.
With no streets.
So if Test wins, he gets to be in love with Stephanie McMahon, and if he loses, he must leave her.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is one of those situations where it's like, oh shit, they already used the actual street. We can't do that too.
No, it was never going to go down outside. Not Shane McMahon.
You want me to go where with all the casuals?
I mean, so first off, I'm going to say this. I did not expect this out of Shane.
This was probably one of his better, like, early stuff that he did. This was one of his better matches.
So first things first is as soon as he comes out, the Mean Street Posse come out in their Hawaiian shirts, like you said.
All injured and shit.
Joey Abs is wearing a red shirt.
Well,
Rodney is wearing a blue shirt, and Pete Gas is wearing the yellow shirt, and they're all matching, which is so cute.
And they have their injuries, too.
I want to make a stupid...
Yep.
That's my stupid comment. Because the whole thing leading into this was Tess is like, I'm going to take out everybody. So that
and they're there.
Not even that. But when we get to SummerSlam, it's just going to be me and you and blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay. And then they're there. That's fine. The part that I'm going to bitch about
is... The editing on that?
No. I'm going to bitch about the fact that yeah, they came out there with their injuries, but when it came to them being involved, their injuries went bye-bye.
Minus Rodney's,
I
actually.
know. I brought that up.
But like a couple of them were just like...
Because Rodney's was fine, because Gas had the neck.
The guy with the arm was fine. Everybody else, one was the leg, one was the neck.
The neck one, I will give that a little bit more of a pass, because technically you could hit someone if you have a neck issue. But,
Sure.
but the leg guy, Abs, okay, Abs, come on. You gotta sell the fact that your leg's broken, dude.
The match would have been fine without the minute, but as the match goes on, I'm sure we'll have comments like why this part probably didn't need to be in the booking.
I love the fact that they're on a moving platform with a couch, and there is an end table with a lamp on it, nonetheless, in the crowd. So first off is Shane McMahon is out there, and he does a nice spear to test. Then a power slam to test. Then Shane got press slammed onto the Main Street Posse. There was a mailbox and a sign shot to test.
The what sign? Do not enter.
Do not enter.
That will come up in my notes.
Then, of course,
Many times.
Shane McMahon grabs a picture, like an 8x10 of the... Actually, it's
bigger than that.
It's a big frame.
There's a frame
Of
picture
the Main Street Posse and Shane, and he whacks him over it, and there's a bunch of glass all over the place.
Second class spot
Second glass spot.
of the night.
That's true. Shane missed... I don't know what the hell he was trying to do. It was a corkscrew something.
I have six-pack abs that I can do a 450 corkscrew splash, whatever, and he didn't do any of that.
Airball.
Just looked really bad.
Oh.
There was a really nice power bomb to Shane. This part made absolutely no sense. It is a street fight, but yet there is a big boot to the referee.
Now, there's a lot that doesn't make sense from here on out. Actually.
Yeah, we couldn't stop mentioning it. It was just so obvious.
There's a slam outside to Shane.
Actually, I want to talk about that big boot spot because that could have been far worse for the referee than ever. Because when he hits him, instead of falling straight to the mat, his head goes like neck first.
Into the ropes.
Yeah.
He did an Enzo.
No, he didn't do an Enzo because he actually was actually conscious.
That's true.
Coming from the Enzo.
And he hit the
part
top
over
of the
here.
rope, not under the rope. Enzo
Then,
knocked himself out sliding out of the ring.
the one spot that Albert thought would never happen, Shane has test on the table.
Prove
And,
me wrong.
The first time he hits the elbow drop.
and he hits
only
the
time.
elbow drop, and Albert goes, "That never happens. He never
And
hits
of
that
course, I
thing."
jinxed
And
it.
Jim Ross said suicide like 7 times. That was kind of weird.
Suicide, suicide, suicide.
Easy, JR.
I was like, he literally falls off a fucking Hell in a Cell doing the same move like 20 years later.
Then the posse get involved, of course.
Of course.
Over.
Then
Again.
Gerald Briscoe and Pat Patterson of all people come out and take out the posse.
Do not enter Pat Patterson.
Then there's the pump handle slam to Shane McMahon.
Oh.
Then the elbow to Shane McMahon, and Test loves her, so he wins.
Yep. And Stephanie McMahon sold the end. She was like, "Yeah!" running down the aisle with her.
Little 23-year-old Stephanie.
And,
Love conquers all, and
yeah.
by the way, the whole time
22-year-old Stephanie.
she is watching this match on a tiny ass TV screen in the back.
On like a
Spare no
12-inch,
expense.
almost black and white, freaking tube TV. I'm like,
Sparing-
oh man,
Yeah,
Dave.
it's like catering for WrestleMania 17, sparing no expense for the TV viewage.
This is so weird.
So great start, grudge match. Start off fighting. I love it. Outside of the ring,
That's pretty much every match from here on out.
Yeah.
Shane takes a lot of bumps, and he doesn't care.
A lot of
Good for
lot of
him.
shots.
Shane pressed him into the posse. Yep, caught that. Was an outstanding spot. The ref is just sitting there, just like saying everything. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. I even yell at the screen like, "Shut up, ref! Shut up!"
You interfere in this
you mean nothing
6 or
until the
7
pin.
times. Like, why are you stopping people from doing anything?
The mailbox. God damn it! That was that sounded awesome when he hit Test with it. The do not enter sign. I swear to God, it is a goddamn friggin' like some symbolism for like do not
Enter
violate my daughter. I'm sorry, violate my sister.
my daughter. I mean,
Yeah. And then of course it comes over with Pat Patterson because like goddamn, I don't know. The picture,
make that
the
joke.
picture spot. I thought the glass was going to be a problem, but they worked around it, so good for them.
I really liked the couch spot before that, where he threw Shane in the couch.
I didn't
Into the.
I wanted to
you
see
missed
that
it.
lamp involved.
You missed it because like, where'd that
So
couch
instead of like
come
10, it's a 9.5 for the lamp.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 Shane match. Got it.
I did not rate
Maybe
that 10.
Kurt Angle and Shane.
Yeah, a ref bump, and then and then the overbooking happens. I mean, the posse. It didn't ruin the match, but it took away from it. They did not need to be involved, especially when the fact they had injuries and they didn't sell them.
So the overbooking was happening the moment they came out there. There was no point in it.
Yeah.
True. They should have
Shane-
chilled on their couch.
I just want to know where the fuck Briscoe and Patterson came from and all this. Like all of a sudden, like, hey, here I am.
It's funny their faces out of nowhere. Shane misses hits the elbow drop on through the announce table. The two great 2 counts Test had to do for the crowd pop for both of them. That's how invested the crowd was in this match, or this whole card for that matter.
Wrestling, 1999, 2000.
Joey Abs took a great bump. I don't know if the camera caught it, but like I caught it.
Kicked off the
He
top.
was kicked off the apron and fell straight down. I don't think he protected himself, but you couldn't tell. It looked like he just took it flat back.
Well, he's the one who was supposed to have the leg injury, so yeah, he should have taken it flat backed.
There you go, right? Test wins with the elbow drop off the top rope, and then, like you said, love conquers all. I'm giving it an 8.
Conquers all.
I loved it. It was great.
I gave it a 7.5, but here's the deal.
It could have been better.
But here's the deal. So the whole story is Vince doesn't want Stephanie dating a wrestler, and Shane is pretty much protecting that image. So why are Patterson and Briscoe, Vince's stooges, helping Test win when that means she would be dating a wrestler?
I think Vince was like, you know what? I love my daughter. Of course, that gets disproved later in the year, but that matters not. So Vince is like, you know what? It's my daughter. You know what? Help her out. Maybe during the middle of the match, throughout the whole match, he sees Steph's like watching the TV, like, I care. Okay, go help Test. Who knows?
What did you think for a rating?
It would have been an 8 if it wasn't for the stupid ref part. 7.5. I don't get the referee's constant stopping of the posse. Like, what are you gonna do?
I
You're
don't
gonna
get it either.
disqualify him?
It's a street fight.
Yeah, big deal.
You can't do anything.
Yeah.
All he could have did is eject them to the back.
And technically can't do that.
Yeah, because they can come out whenever they want.
Like, again, you're gonna disqualify them. They're not gonna leave.
I enjoyed it. It was an 8.
Shane loses nothing.
I definitely enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong.
It's just the ref. That's my only issue. He did take a hell of a bump though. So.
Then we have the WWF Tag Team Title match: X-Pac and Kane versus Big Show and Undertaker, where Kane in the story cried because X-Pac was getting his ass whooped.
Kane cried.
Yeah. He was on the ground. That's why you were like, what the fuck is that noise? He's like,
I remember asking about that, yeah. I was like, what the fuck was that?
that was Kane.
Crying.
He was crying because
Through his little fucking,
what
do you
didn't.
call that?
He didn't do that part of that
Trachea.
particular thing.
That thing you use for soundbox. It's called
Yeah,
soundbox.
soundbox for the trachea.
But I wrote that X-Pac did a nice crossbody to Taker.
Yep.
Kane saved X-Pac from a choke slam
Yep.
when Big Show was attempting to give him one. There was the top rope clothesline, or flying clothesline, whatever, to Taker from Kane. Big Show did the power slam
Signature
to Kane.
vintage Kane.
There was the double clothesline, Taker and Kane
Cool.
spot.
Thank you.
Big Show threw X-Pac into the ring. There was the Big Show bear hug to X-Pac.
The Big Show. I'm gonna hug you like a little child.
Yeah, there was the
Because you are one in comparison. to
X-Pac
everybody
did the
else.
ball shot to Big Show. Also gave the low blow to Taker.
Okay. The first one, Hebner tried his hardest to not see, even though he clearly saw it, and he turned to Taker, and he's like, I didn't see anything, we're
The
fine.
second
the
one
second
he
one,
saw.
he's just... yes. He's just like, damn it.
It's so obvious.
There was the Bronco Buster to Big Show. Choke slam to X-Pac from the Big Show. Then there was the Tombstone to X-Pac. 1, 2, 3. Big Show and Undertaker are your new champions.
Yeah.
I just want to make that comment going back to the second Earl Hebner spot. It's like, I would say it ruined it, but it was so fucking funny to see it because it was caught on
We
camera.
all looked at each other. We're
It
like,
was so bad.
oh, it was so bad.
Because it
And
literally had to look away as soon as possible.
Yeah, the first
oh,
one.
I didn't see it.
But the second
It's like,
one,
ugh.
the second one, he's just so blatant, like, fuck, I missed that one.
Yeah, I
I'm
know,
surprised
so-
he didn't hurt his neck doing that.
Yeah, he
But-
looked away as quick as possible to be like, Did I?
I just think the funniest thing about the second one was just like, well, shit, the match is almost over, and I'm not going to DQ him because that's not the finish.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to admit, before this match started, I didn't think it'd be that good. It was better than I thought it was going to be,
actually,
and maybe it's because I underestimated this card in general. It started off hot again. I don't know why it did it, but it did, and I like that kind of thing. Where like, but just want to fight, just go fight. The first bit of my notes was like X-Pac did the suck at the Taker on the outside of the ring, and Taker was like,
Yep.
Fucking
Punched him.
Kane off the top rope. These fucking 300-pounders. Like, I don't know how WWE can figure this out, but you got Taker, you had Kane, and you had Big Show, and this is before Big Show got really, really
and
big.
this is fucking X-Pac.
And then X-Pac. Now, of course, X-Pac is running circles around him because he's just smaller, but like these guys are just so athletic. Like Kane off the top rope, Taker off the top rope, Kane was bumping, Taker was bumping, and Big Show was bumping to make everybody look good, and that's why this match was so good to me. That these guys didn't care. That one guy who's like 150 soaking wet can hit a crossbar off the top rope and he's gonna fall, or Taker will fall. And then I think of course I hate the Bronco Buster, but that's beside the point. X-Pac, he laid in. He lays everything in. Of course, he can't hurt these guys, but he hit Taker with like 4 kicks right in a row. Laid him in. To me, that made the match because like that's Taker taking things, knowing that like it makes the match better.
I'm just surprised people underestimate how much of an athlete X-Pac actually was.
He's awesome.
He was great in the ring. That was never.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, he's local too.
He is.
Well, he was born here or something.
Yeah, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
He's a
I didn't know
Minnesota
that.
guy. Unlike Brock Lesnar, who's built from Minneapolis, Minnesota, but
He
he's
just
actually
made
from
his
South
Spain
Dakota.
Here, to me, when Taker hit the tombstone, I was like, good ending. Because like I know how it works out for Taker and Big Show. They were a dominant team. If Taker wasn't hurt, they would have been a more dominant team.
I agree with that.
It's the same thing when Shawn Michaels and Austin were a tag team.
Well, that was not the same thing.
But if Michaels didn't get hurt, they would have been fine.
Well,
Or Austin got
maybe.
hurt. Somebody got hurt in that team.
For Michaels and Austin?
When they were a team, somebody got
No,
hurt.
Michaels.
They were a
said-
team for the sake of them being 2 baby faces.
Yeah, Michaels said, "Fuck you, I don't want to team with you,"
No, something.
and
happened.
ditched Austin.
Okay.
Yeah, they won the tag belts once, but that was
Yeah,
I don't remember the details.
That's an
Anyway, and when this match was over, I was like, this match is a lot better than I thought it was going to be because like maybe I'm biased towards like seeing 20 years of like, or not 20 years of X-Pac, but like seeing X-Pac just gradually go downhill. But this match was great. I gave it a 7.
That's kind of insulting to X-Pac.
I gave
It
it a,
is, but he's horrible.
I
He was
gave it
horrible.
a,
after
I
this.
gave it a 7.5, but also we forgot to mention that spot where I can't remember who had X-Pac outside of the ring, but they fucking put his balls on the turnbuckle, and you're like, oh shit, there he's gonna rip his asshole.
I don't remember.
It was on the outside of the ring that someone slammed him into the turnbuckle like that. Like
It was
pretty much a
good.
Bronco Buster to the outside.
It was probably Taker.
I think it might have been Big Show actually, but yeah.
Yeah,
What
so
did you
7 for me.
rate that?
I'm gonna give it 7.5. Again, this is a show that
7.5.
I actually have much of a favoritism to.
So then we had the Kiss My Ass match.
Yeah.
The Rock versus Mr. Ass, Billy Gunn.
My name's Billy.
Where Billy Gunn brings out a large woman
I just want to get a ring.
and says, The Rock's not going to kiss my ass. The Rock's going to kiss her ass.
And obviously, you know where this goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wrote, fighting outside the ring,
And no one kissed anybody's ass.
Bulldog to the Rock, corner splash to Rock, float over DDT to Gunn, famouser to the Rock, Billy's face into woman's ass,
Rock bottom. People's
rock
elbow.
bottom, people's elbow, 1, 2, 3, the Rock wins.
That was, and you know, everything you listed was like what I remember. I'm with my memories being as bad as it is. All that stuff is exactly how I remember it.
There's only one spot that you
Maybe. Okay.
you specified.
Oh.
You specified it.
The fact that the woman's panties were ripped.
That,
Okay,
that
that's not
woman's
really a
panties
spot,
are
but yeah,
ripped.
well,
No, that's a spot. That's a spot
her
you
pantyhose or
recognize
whatever.
in
It was-
particular.
All right. To me, the match was not great, and I'll give my rating in a second. But like even The Rock let fucking Billy Gunn own the first like almost 10 minutes of the match. Still, Still, no heat for Billy Gunn. Nothing.
His career was over the moment that Billy broke.
Yeah, and that's just the way it goes down for some of these
Singles
guys.
push.
Whether it's a one moment or it's a match and you make one botch or whatever, it happened to be The Rock saying, "It doesn't matter what your name is," and it's
My
over.
name's Billy.
Well, and also,
But it doesn't matter.
Also, look at the fact that when we watched the story before the match too, that they showed a big bare ass on the Raw Titantron, and they censored
Twice.
Billy Gunn's ass.
When he was
Yeah.
wearing a thong.
And by the way, no one no one kissed anybody's ass. Really, it was just a Rikishi bump. That's all it
Kind
was.
of.
Billy
You
got his
kissed
head
the
shoved
lady's
in there.
ass.
We got okay.
It
Got
wasn't like
forced
the
up her
Big
ass.
Show getting shoved up the ass crack and Vince's face going in there. Like,
And the worst part
unforgivable.
about it is Jerry the King Lawler calls on it. I think she likes it.
She did like it. She's smiling like she hasn't had anybody touch her down there
Yeah.
in like 10 years or some shit.
Maybe it's been 10 years.
If the
Or
Rock,
more.
if it wasn't for the Rock, this match would have been like a 2.5. But I'm giving it a 4.
I'm giving it-
To me, it's the worst card of the. It's the worst. I'm mistaking my claim. This is the worst match of the card. And it's not the Rock's fault. It's the story's fault.
I'm gonna give it a 6 because The Rock is in it. I'm gonna give it a 6.25. I'll give Billy Gunn 0.25 of the score. I'm giving it a 6 because The Rock is in it.
It's the worst match of the card.
It is the worst
It's not anybody's fault.
6.5.
But it's The Rock, and I can't go lower than
And
6.
I put it lower than over Ivory and Tori. I did.
I think
put
you said
6
4 for that too.
6.5 for that match.
Technically, you can have one better 4-star match than the other.
Honestly, it's probably the worst match Rock has ever had.
So,
Well, that's debatable.
are you sure? Because
What about the 8-second WrestleMania match he had?
That doesn't
with
count.
Eric Rowan?
It
What
does. It's official.
Okay, well, I'm not counting that one because it's not a match they announced
Okay,
and
so
hyped.
okay, what do you count that Boss Man match that he had where he beat him in 4 seconds?
That was part of the tournament.
It was announced.
It was announced.
Yeah, but it was part of the way to get. No, it wasn't because he won him in the second round.
Yeah. He's got you there. You're not wrong. Technicalities, man, they be a bitch.
I'm just saying. He had to wrestle 4 times that night, so whatever.
All right, so then you had the special ref triple threat match for the WWE title. Stone Cold
The main events.
Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Mankind versus Triple H, the special ref, Jesse the Body Ventura.
This match was a clusterfuck. That's
First things first is Ventura comes out and does a promo where he's pretty much like, Minnesota, I'm the governor, woo! All right.
yeah, pretty much. That's what he said.
So then
Yay, boo, whatever.
Austin and Mankind start off by double teaming Triple H. Then there's brawling outside. Triple H hits Austin in the knee with a chair, which is great because he's wearing the knee brace.
So it's Triple H, actually. He's wearing one.
Yep, he was wearing one.
Yeah.
There's the mandible claw to Triple H. China gets involved and gets kicked out by Jesse Ventura, and Triple H is arguing it the whole time up the ramp.
What
I
is
know.
Jesse Ventura?
I know, worst ref ever.
Then there's double teaming to Austin.
Yep.
There's the leg drop pin by Foley while Triple H is doing a spinning heel hook.
What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
He got pretty pissed.
Like, what do you think? I'm trying to win the title.
Then Foley does a clothesline
Standard
to Triple
triple threat rule.
H. Triple H does the pedigree to Austin, or does a pedigree attempt to Austin, and ends up swinging him into Foley, who was in the corner.
And Foley weirdly falls.
Stunner to Foley. Chair to Foley. Shane McMahon comes out
Why?
because
Why?
Austin
There's a lot of
versus
things about this
McMahon.
That's still a thing at this point.
Then bring Vince out. Jesus.
Vince isn't even there, I guarantee you.
Shane gets a stunner.
I guess.
Stunner to Triple H, or stunner to Shane, stunner to Triple H. Then there's a pedigree to Austin. Foley does his double arm DDT to Austin and pins him 1, 2, 3.
Well, I want to talk about a spot you missed. And that's when Triple H had the match won.
He did have it 1, but then
And
Jesse
Jesse's
Ventura's
just
like, nah.
Not even in the middle of the ring. He said he was going to count it in the middle of the ring. That's one thing.
He hit him
And
with a
that's-
chair or something like that, right?
I don't even
Yeah.
care.
I know.
Ventura's
I hated it.
one statement in all 3 of the backstage segments was, this match has to end in the middle of the ring. Triple H had him in the middle of the ring.
He didn't
That's-
say how. He just said middle of the
That's
ring.
right, we forgot to mention that he had the same talk with Stone Cold that he did
And
to
Stone Cold,
everyone else.
he didn't
And
have a
Foley.
talk with Stone Cold. Stone Cold just walked away.
Yeah, but he still said, I'm going to count to 3 in the middle of the ring. And also was like,
Austin was already gone by the time he said
He's
it.
like,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't care. I'll kill you anyway.
I think the only real surprise in this match was, there's a clusterfuck, there's that, but is that Mick Foley won.
Yeah.
Or Mankind won.
Yeah.
Mankind wins.
My favorite Triple H theme of all time is the My Time theme. Also had a huge pop. I loved it.
Everyone did.
Mick Foley really did not. He came out from the parking lot and then walked into the ring. It seemed like.
Yeah, because then they were playing the music that they let down the cage or the Hell in a Cell.
Yeah.
Hell
why
in
are
a
they
Cell?
doing that? Is it Hell in a Cell? We don't know it.
They're hyping them up,
A
dude.
good hot start though. They fought off starting at the beginning, and I love that stuff. Crap. Who was trying to shake Austin's hand? Was it Mick Foley trying to do it, or
Foley was trying?
Yeah,
and
Foley
also was like, I said DTA. Like, it just starts.
Don't trust
fighting.
Austin.
Yep.
Don't trust Austin. Don't trust anybody. Whatever. China gets ejected for ball shotting Foley, and then Foley and Triple H team up on Austin, which I thought was pretty funny. And then of course they go, "What the fuck are you doing?"
The fuck?
Yeah, because he tried to pin him.
Foley hits Foley clotheslines Triple H, and they both go to the top rope. I saw it coming, but it's still really cool to see. I love this kind
He does the Foley close.
And then Foley catches himself there, and then he does the cannonball, and he misses.
And the cannonball. I thought it was still a great spot. And then everything else played out like Chris said. And to me, it can't be understated. Jesse Ventura ruined that match for me. Ruined it.
Everything he did was garbage.
It was garbage. I'm sorry. A legend. I love him as an announcer. I never saw him as a wrestler, so I can't tell you because he had a blood clot in his lung and he couldn't wrestle anymore, or a blood clot somewhere, and he had to retire.
Come on, Gorilla.
And eventually he became the fucking announcer that I grew up with. So I definitely love the guy.
I just thought it was the weirdest thing to get the active. I say active in the wrestling term.
Yeah,
to get
and
the
then
actual
and then to
governor
say
of Minnesota.
and then
I
to
think that
say
was kind of cool.
and then go back on his word. He went back on his word. Whether you want to agree with it or not, he did. Triple H had him down.
1, 2, 3, middle of the ring.
And he's like, nope. Cross his arms. Not doing it.
Well, you got to think though. In his eyes, he wanted it to be a fair fight. The fact that there was a chair involved.
One of the biggest heels ever.
He couldn't have disqualified Triple H.
Right. So what are you gonna do?
I think it's weird.
Did you want him to slow count or just go?
It's funny because your story
And then go, oh,
this,
you can't count.
you
that.
know the story about why that happened.
Call it down the middle. As far as bullshit.
And it's just the funniest thing for me is
If Michaels can do it, Jesse Ventura can do it too.
because we know Triple H wins the title next,
the next night.
the literal next night in Iowa. But there's
Really?
like no, yeah. There's like no. Austin's gonna take the pin. Horrible idea. Foley's gonna win, and then to make Austin's taking the pin even worse, Triple H is gonna win the title the next night anyways, which makes it look even worse on Austin.
What's wrong? There's nothing wrong with Austin taking a pin.
I don't think he should have taken the pin here. I know why he did because it gave Triple H the right to get the shot.
What's the story?
But I'm saying if you're gonna have Jesse Ventura be like, I'm not gonna blah blah blah, I don't think Austin should take the pin. I think
no
they should have
problem
found a
with
way to Triple H.
So that meant to me that got me a 5.5. I can't.
Again, I said so. My first show, I gave it 6.5.
Fair enough.
Jesse sucks though.
Gave it a 7.
Of course you did.
I did. I like it.
Fair enough. I mean, if you like it, I didn't care much for
A
it.
lot of the stuff I did remember from the
The
show.
work was. I'm sorry. The work was great. I just think Jesse Ventura there messed it up to me.
I didn't let that deter me.
It should have.
I tried not to because we were talking about it during the match, and I'm not saying that your points aren't wrong. I just couldn't get over maybe it was a little bit of bias, but like every time it just seemed like he said I would do this, I would do that. He didn't do anything he said he was going to do, except he did count the pin in the middle, but he should have done it before with Triple H.
But he also kicked out China like he said he was going to.
Hey, fair enough.
But then after.
But he also ran like 5,000 miles that way while people are doing illegal things in a match.
And after the match, of course,
they
Triple
went
H
everywhere.
and China are beating the shit out of Austin.
So where's Jesse Ventura there, right? Some hero.
No, he left. He was done. He's like, he got his
And
paycheck.
at that point, he was out. He didn't have anything else to call. Foley
Oh,
won.
okay,
And
so
he was
he's
done.
all.
He's like, they paid me my money. I'm out.
So he's a social justice warrior about like I'm gonna count in the middle of the ring in 3. I'm gonna do the right thing, and then when somebody's getting jumped, he's gonna just hightail.
He was a social distance warrior in that one.
True. Hey, fair enough. We all know about that. But he is one of the greatest heels of all time. So why could he not count them? So it'd been great if he had counted the 1, 2, 3 for one of the greatest heels right then and there, Triple H.
I was gonna say having him there
Why
as
not?
a face is probably a bigger mistake. But then again, how can you make the governor of Minnesota in Minnesota
A heel. How would
It's
you do
fake
that?
fighting. God
Yeah,
damn
but you
it.
gotta realize this is '99. Less people knew it was fake fighting.
Yeah, more people thought it was real. More people
There
had
was
the
a lot
cornet
more people
theory.
back then that thought it was real.
Get out of here.
They had the
Kayfabe
cornet-
still had a life back then.
Yeah, it did. It wasn't on life support. Otherwise, that's why they had Kane always like dress up when he was in public, so they didn't tell it was Kane.
But
Oh,
anyways,
fair enough.
overall thoughts.
I thought the show was
Still
a
fun.
good pass. Like I would definitely watch it again. I mean, anyone who wants to watch an old WWF event, go for it.
I would
Absolutely.
say the moments that I knew were great from when I watched 20 years ago on VHS, when I watched it for the first time, at 8 years old on VHS, it's like, yeah, all the great moments were just as good, if not better. The Jeff Hardy taking the spear from Edge off the barricade and all that, the first time that happened. He did it more times after that.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, the crowd was so up for this, like they were even more so at WrestleMania 17, and still these guys are building to that, and they're still getting freaking a crowd to stand up and go, yeah, or
See,
chant
I
or
feel
whatever.
like the fans are about the same for both shows, but you can see the maturity of the performers growing.
Well, this is a year and a half before WrestleMania 17. You see Edge and Christian and the Hardys. They look so different
They were
here than
yeah.
they do when they get to
In
there.
fact, during the Tag Team Turmoil, they jerked the curtain, quote unquote, and a year and a half later, they're closing it with the Dudleys. You know what I'm saying?
They're taking the house down.
But it's weird
Yeah.
because, like, my point was like, all the high moments that I remembered from a kid were just as high.
Good.
I didn't really have low moments because I was a kid.
That's
so
how
I didn't notice the negatives.
Well, yeah, I mean, as a kid, you're not gonna sit there and go, Tori and Ivory suck.
I was going to say the one thing I didn't like when I was a kid that I actually appreciated more now, the only big change
was the Lions weapon.
was the Lion set
match.
match was actually a lot better than I remembered.
Yeah. It's like me going back to WrestleMania 3. I'm still going to mark over Hogan, Simon Andre. It's going to happen.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
not the
no.
greatest moment of all time.
But when I was like, 12 years old, it was freaking fantastic.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Because, like, no one has ever slammed Andre at that point. I didn't know anything
Or,
about
like, nobody has Slam Andre nationally on TV.
Yeah, because Hogan did it a couple other times before that.
Yeah, I'd recommend this show to anybody who wants to watch good old school wrestling from the Attitude Era. Watch this show.
I mean,
Or if you like Minneapolis geography.
Huh? Oh, yeah, right.
If you want to avoid the Ivory Tory match, go for it. And if you are a work rate fan, I would skip the Kiss My Ass match. But
If
the
you
rest
hate
of the show
asses.
is fine.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
if you love The Rock, it's still worth watching.
You can smell what that's cooking.
But anyways, that's what we got.
We got
There you go.
Survival of the Fittest Night 2 next week.
Kiss my ass. We out.
Later.